Hey guys, welcome to the WalterFootball.com After Dark show for June 13th, 2023. Congratulations to the Nuggets for winning the NBA championship. That was a crazy game. It reminded me of like 90s basketball where like teams had trouble scoring and there's a lot of like physical play going on. It was like a flash in the past and it was fun to watch, especially if you bet the Heat like we did. We had plus 8.5 for the game, and then we took the Nuggets minus 8.5 at halftime, which turned out to be minus 1.5 for the rest of the game. So yeah, we had a nice middle there. So that was pretty cool to end the NBA season that way. Kind of sad that basketball's over, but at least we got to go out on top, which is pretty nice and not always the case. So all right, so for today, I thought I'd look at Charlie's mock draft, which is something I haven't done yet on the After Dark show. I've usually done my mock drafts. Um, I haven't updated my mock draft because I'm posting season previews, but Charlie updated his mock draft. So I thought it'd be kind of like refreshing to look at a new mock draft and see where Charlie and I differ, or see where we end up the same. And I think it's interesting because I mean Charlie has been the most accurate mock drafter on the internet, or I guess anywhere, over the past decade, and I mean he's the best in the business. So yeah, let's get right to it. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. As you can see, if you're watching on the tiny screen, I'm wearing a Walter Football black t-shirt. I had to look at the color. So yeah, I mean all that would help us out a lot. And if you have any questions or comments, just leave them here. It doesn't have to be about this. I'll get to it after I'm done this mock draft. So he has the Raiders taking Caleb Williams #1. I have the Buccaneers taking Caleb Williams #1. So same player, different Pirate franchise here. The Raiders, as you may have heard, Jimmy Garoppolo has some issues with his injuries. He may be cut. He may not be able to play. If he's out, it's going to be Brian Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell. And unless like Aiden O'Connell's the next Brock Purdy, the Raiders are going to be drafting pretty early in the 2024 NFL draft. So definitely agree with this. I have the Raiders drafting #2. So we're kind of in lockstep there. This is where we differ. So Charlie has Denver taking Drake May. So two AFC West teams at the bottom here. So I like the Broncos more than Charlie does. I like the upgrade they made at coach. I mean, Sean Payton, maybe he's not going to be the same guy he was early in his Saints tenure, but he's definitely going to be a huge upgrade over Nathaniel Hackett. And then I like what Denver did with the offensive line. They signed a couple of guys, including Mike McGlinchey. They're getting Garrett Bowles back from injury. They're going to get Randy Gregory back from injury. So I think Denver is going to be better than Charlie does. But if he's right about Russell Wilson struggling, and that could definitely be the case. I mean, Russell Wilson looked so terrible last year. I think he'll be better because of the better offensive line play and better coaching staff. But if Wilson really struggles, then I mean, yeah, Denver can bottom out and have the #2 pick. Or if they have injuries again, sure, they can be here. So if Denver has the #2 pick, I don't doubt that they would take a quarterback like Drake May. #3, the Cardinals drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. This is a pick that I also have in my mock draft. So it just makes so much sense. DeAndre Hopkins gone. Marquise Brown is the #2. So I don't think the Cardinals would pass on Marvin Harrison Jr. #4, Jared Verse to the Bears. I think I also have this. Not quite sure, or at least I did at one point. The Bears need a pass rusher. They've done a good job of upgrading their linebacking core and some other areas of the roster, but they're not going to be able to get to the quarterback at all this year. They really miss. They're going to miss Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn once again. So I really like this pick. I think Travers makes so much sense. The Colts taking Joe Alt at #5. So I have the Colts taking Brock Bowers at this pick. It could definitely be Joe Alt. I mean, yeah, left tackle is more valuable than a tight end. Although I think that Bowers is the better prospect here. But you know, it's just you kind of have to like weigh whether you think positional value is more important or the prospect. I can see the Colts going either way. And if Bernard Raymond isn't the franchise left tackle the Colts hope he can be, then and I think Joe Alt makes a lot of sense at #5. And speaking of tackles, the Packers taking Olu Fashanu, #6. So David Bakhtiari is going to be free agent soon. So this is definitely a direction the Packers could go. And I'm sure the Packer fans would would really want to see a receiver here. But with Marvin Harrison Jr. off the board, I think the Packers, it would make sense for them to go offensive line, or I have them going defensive line. I think either makes sense. If they're not going to re-sign Bakhtiari, I think Fashanu makes a ton of sense for the Packers at number 6. The Rams taking Kool-Aid McKinstry number 7. I also have the Rams going cornerback. In my mock draft, Jalen Ramsey's gone, and the Rams don't have much else at corner, so I like this pick. Number 8, Cardinals taking Rook Ororo. The defensive line is so bad for the Cardinals. JJ Watt's gone. If you look at their roster, they really have nothing at the position in that area at all. Like, it's just guys you've never heard of. So their defense is going to be so bad this year. It might set like records for futility, or probably not, but it's gonna come close at least. I think they're going to be at the bottom of most rankings this year. So someone like Ororo could really help them out. Number 9, the Titans going Dallas Turner. So they have Harold Landry, obviously, but you could always use another pass rusher, especially when you're trying to beat Trevor Lawrence in the division. I mean, that's the guy the Titans are going to have to overcome for the next dozen years. So it makes sense for them to go pass rusher. Number 10, Buccaneers taking Brock Bowers. So here's Bowers. So the Buccaneers would be, I think their fans would be super disappointed. Not that Bowers is a bad pick in this spot. Like, I think that they would love to see Bowers on their team, but for a team that has Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask as their top 2 options at quarterback, you got to think like, oh man, what are the Buccaneers going to do? Like, are they going to go with either of those guys again next year? Are they going to take a quarterback in the second round? I think the Buccaneers, if they finish around 10th, they're going to be hoping that one of the top 2 teams doesn't need a quarterback, because they would love to trade up. I actually have them trading up in my mock from 3 to 1. 10 to 1 or 10 to 2 is going to be more difficult, but it is manageable. I mean, we saw the Panthers do it last year. They moved from 9 to 1. So Buccaneers could definitely go from 10 to 1, but not if the top 2 teams drafting need quarterbacks. They're definitely not going to be able to do that. So like I said, they're going to be hoping for one of the teams that doesn't need a quarterback to be in the top 2 spots, and not really sure who that would be. I guess the Cardinals are the obvious team. You could argue the Cardinals need a quarterback with Kyler Murray always hurt, but that contract's gonna be tough to move, and I think the Cardinals would pass on a quarterback, and I think they trade down. So I think Buccaneer fans should be Cardinal fans or anti-Cardinal fans. Like, they should short the Cardinals this year and hope they lose every game. Number 11, the Redskins going J.C. Latham, tackle. I think the Redskins really need a tackle. Charles Leno he's pretty decent, but he's going to be in his mid-30s, so there's going to be a decline soon, and they could use help at right tackle as well. Number 12, the Steelers taking Michael Hall. I doubt Steelers would pass on a talented Ohio State defensive lineman. They had a lot of success with Cameron Hayward, so I think that that would really help them out a lot. I have them going edge rusher. I think that defensive tackle also makes sense too. I mean, Stephon Tuitt's gone, and I think that they would like to have a replacement for him. Number 13, Jack Nelson going to the Bears. So back-to-back tackles for the Bears. Maybe this is a guard. I see Jack Nelson going to guard for the Bears. I guess that would make sense. Yeah, or maybe Braxton Jones goes to guard. I'm not really sure what they would do here, but Jack Nelson could play tackle or guard at the next level. So maybe they could just move Nelson to guard. Number 14, the Patriots taking Johnny Wilson. So Johnny Wilson, not a good look for him if he's taken by the Patriots, because the Patriots draft nothing but busts at receiver for the most part. So yeah, I mean, like that's the one like blind spot for Belichick. It's really like, he's obviously one of the best coaches of all time. He's good at personnel. I mean, he makes a lot of good decisions, but his receiving drafting history is just so bad. I feel like he used to like almost outsource the receiving drafting to like maybe like the Steelers. Like, the Steelers always draft a good receiver. Like, maybe they should hire someone from the Steelers from front office, and just for that position, because the Patriots haven't been able to draft receivers well. So that like Johnny Wilson would be the next bust if that happens. Dolphins taking Jatavius Sanders, tight end. So I think tight ends go later than most people think. So I have Jatavius Sanders in the mid 20s or late 20s to the Jets. So like I mean the fit makes sense. The Dolphins don't really have a tight end at the moment. Mike Gesicki's gone, Sanders would definitely fill a need. I wonder if the Dolphins would want to trade down and then take Sanders at like 22 or something. Then the Falcons taking Braylon Trice. Pass rusher is a huge need for the Falcons. If you haven't heard me say it, here it is. The Falcons have had the worst pressure rate in each of the past 2 years. I don't think that'll happen this year with Calais Campbell there, but they still need a pass rusher. I feel like they're going to be like in pressure rate, they're probably going to be like 20 to 24th or something. So it's still going to be below average. All right. Second half of the first round, Xavier Worthy to the Texans. Houston has a huge need of receiver. Their number one receiver right now is either Robert Woods or Tank Dell. So Xavier Worthy would be a huge upgrade theoretically. Number 18, the Cowboys taking Kamari Lassiter. Stephon Gilmore is a short-term solution. They traded for him. He's obviously not going to be there for a while. He's in his mid-30s. So they need a cornerback for the future across from Trayvon Diggs. And, Lassiter makes sense at number 18, I think. Number 19, Mason Smith. The 49ers, they signed Javon Hargrave. But Javon Kinlaw has not played well for them. So this could be someone to push him and also a future replacement for a Hargrave. A Hargrave's just a short-term solution because I think he's 30 or 29 or 30, something like that. And, he's going to be on the decline soon. So the 49ers need a long-term defensive lineman. The Vikings at number 20 taking Jack Sawyer. So a year ago, you'd been like, Vikings pass rusher? No way. They have a great pass rush. It's actually like the only good aspect of their defense. But not anymore. Zadarius Smith is gone. He was traded. And it sounds like Daniel Hunter might be traded as well. If he's gone, the Vikings are not going to get any pressure on the quarterback. So Jack Sawyer would be a good replacement. Number 21, the Jets taking T'Vondre Sweat. Another defensive lineman. The Jets have this is a strength, but teams will build on strengths. I've seen it all the time. Like the Eagles draft defensive linemen like every year, even though they have a strong defensive line. Teams like to do that. Teams don't they don't necessarily like fill needs, especially in the first round when you can take the best player available. So I think the Jets could take Sweat here, and they could stand to improve against the run. So I think the pick makes sense. 22 Giants taking Emeka Egbuka, receiver from Ohio State. The Giants receiving core is terrible. So yeah, this is an easy need that could be filled. 23, the Saints drafting Chico Bennett Jr. I think we might have the same pick. I know this. I had the Saints taking an edge rusher. It might be Bennett. I'm not sure if it is. But the Saints really wanted Miles Murphy. They missed him by one pick. So I think they try to find another pass rusher that they like. Number 24, the Jaguars taking Tyler Davis, a defensive tackle. So this is someone to replace Calais Campbell, and it's something they haven't done since Campbell left for Baltimore. Almost, I guess it's been like 5 years now. So yeah, the Jaguars haven't had a great defensive tackle play, so that could really change with this pick. 25, the Ravens taking JT Tuimoloau, edge rusher from Ohio State. The Ravens need to improve their pass rush. They tend to get pressure on the quarterback via the blitz, and I think that getting pressure on the quarterback without blitzing, I think, would be important, especially when you have to go against Patrick Mahomes. Like that's the one reason the Ravens haven't been able to beat Mahomes like very much. Well, obviously outside of Mahomes being awesome, but the Ravens have like relied on the blitz so much against Mahomes, and you can't blitz them. You can't blitz Mahomes and hope to win. It's just not going to work. You have to get someone with 4 players, and that's something Baltimore needs to do if they want to overcome him. And also Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is the number one quarterback against the blitz, so it's so important for these AFC North teams to be able to get to the quarterback with only 4 players. All right, the Seahawks taking Leonard Taylor, defensive tackle. I'm all for Seattle going defensive line in any fashion. Edge rusher, defensive tackle. That's their weakness, is their pass rush and their run defense overall. So I think that they need to go defensive line. 27, Chargers taking Javion Cohen. So they took a guard, Zion. It's not Zion. Zion Johnson. In the was 2022 NFL draft. This is the 17th pick. So another guard. I don't know if. I guess it makes sense to improve the offensive line. I think that the Chargers would I think they'd rather go right tackle, although they re-signed Trey Pipkins to a deal that was too much. I don't know what they were thinking. So I mean, it never hurts to upgrade the offensive line. Yeah, I think that the Chargers could definitely go offensive line. Speaking of offensive line, the Bills taking Tate Ratledge. So they were rumored to be drafting Osiris Torrance in the first round, and then they took him in the second round, I believe. So they could stand to get another guard. I think the interior protection was pretty weak for the Bills last year. I think they made some nice upgrades, but most of those were short-term solutions. So they could get someone for the long term here. I had this pick, number 29, Detroit, taking Max Melton. So they wanted the cornerback Devon Witherspoon at number 5. Number 6, and Seattle took him to number 5. So the Lions traded down. So they finally get the corner here. It's kind of like the Saints getting their edge rusher after missing out on him. Number 30, the Chiefs drafting Malachi Moore. So this guy could play safety, corner, especially in the slot. He could play all over the field. And the Chiefs could use that versatility for sure, especially with all the great passing attacks in the AFC. Eagles drafting Terrion Arnold, cornerback. So with James Bradbury and Darius Slay getting up there in age, especially Slay, they're going to need another cornerback soon. The Eagles tend to like to go at pass rush or interior defense line or offensive line in the first round, but we've seen them go cornerback early as well. They'll go cornerback or receiver early too. Like those are high positional value positions too. So they could definitely do that. And then the Bengals drafting Donovan Jackson, number 32. So the Bengals might need a right tackle, but I guess they could use an upgrade in the interior as well. I mean, that is it for Charlie's mock draft. Thanks so much for watching. It's super late. It's like almost midnight here. So I'm going to sign off. Tomorrow, I'm not sure if we're going to do 6:30 or After Dark with Jacob. We'll find something to talk about. Maybe the AFC West and NFC West season previews. We might start that. And then on Wednesday, we're going to do a PGA US Open show of some sort because there's $1 million the first on DraftKings. So we did a show a couple weeks ago with 2 guests, and like 2 of our top plays or like one of our top plays was Jason Day not to make the cut, which paid out. And then one of the guest Nuggets, he said he liked Victor Hovland to win the tournament, and Victor Hovland won. I think he was 20-1 or something close to that. So hopefully we have some good picks on Wednesday night, and then we'll come up with something on Thursday too. So thanks so much for watching. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit walterfootball.com for tons of updates, and I will talk to you tomorrow.